JJ, before we get to the end, the third quarter defensively, they held them to 15 points, and then most of the fourth quarter. What did you see as the key behind that?
We played hard, and we were physical, and we executed. I mean, the second efforts, on-ball containment was better, coverage execution was better. Again, we challenged them on having a defensive mentality and winning on the margins and not allowing compounding mistakes. And I thought we made a lot of mistakes tonight. A lot of mistakes. Myself included. I shouldn't have challenged that, even though, apparently in the NBA you're now allowed to grab a guy's jersey as he goes up for a layup, which they acknowledge that Jake's jersey was being grabbed as he went for a layup, but apparently that doesn't affect guys anymore. Shouldn't have made that challenge because I was in a timeout crunch and didn't have one earlier in the fourth to use it when they made on that run. But again, we didn't allow the mistakes to defeat us. We won the scoring opportunity by 11. Thought Vando and DA and really everybody that we consider a crasher did their best job of crashing tonight. That helped us win the game, along with our defensive mindset. It was just what we needed to be, and it's about growth. It's not about perfection. It's about growth, and we got better in all those things today.
So you end up winning the game, but that last stretch of 5 minutes or so, is it a little kind of prevent defense-ish or not being aggressive enough, or how did you see them able to close the gap that quickly?
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff in there, but I attribute that to my mistake at the end of the third.
When LeBron and Dillon Brooks have their back and forth the way they often do, and certainly did tonight, how does that affect the team? And do you think late in the game when Brooks went chest to chest with LeBron, do you think LeBron showed some awareness in order to kind of, for lack of a better term, sell that in order that
I didn't even see the play, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. But in terms of the back and forth, yeah, our group was unaffected by it. I think we were very cohesive tonight, and one of the biggest factors to the game was the bench play, particularly in the second half. Those guys helped get us the lead. They helped extend the lead. They did it, and that was start of the second, start of the fourth with LeBron. Guys were cheering for each other. I mean, it was, again, it's going to sound sick. I love winning games like this. Wish it had not been a one-possession game, not been down with 12 seconds, like all that stuff. But, winning ugly is actually really fun because it means you got in the trenches and you fought, and we did that tonight.
A couple, if you would, just some maybe rapid fire round. There's so much happened. Why did LeBron shoot that technical after that? Whose decision is that after the Brooks attack?
So guys were out on the court. We had kind of left. Luka and I talked. I thought Luka was going to shoot it. I walked back. LeBron was at the free throw line. He shot it. I don't know what the dialogue on the court was. And, we did this, at some point last year, early in the season, we kind of designate, here's who's going to shoot the technicals. And, every team is different. Sometimes it's the superstar. Sometimes it's the best free throw shooter. Sometimes it's a guy who maybe needs to see the ball go in the basket. Like, it's all situational. But Luka should have shot that. Yeah.
What did you make of Marcus's decision to attack?
Not a great decision.
To maybe on a more positive note, Jared hadn't been playing. And you had kind of been talking about a need for energy, and we've talked about Banshees and stuff like that. Like, just what did it tonight show you about his sort of professionalism and how he was able to make an impact, despite maybe not giving you the things always offensively?
Yeah, it's interesting because I saw you guys interviewed me the other day, and he talked about communication and like it being here and there, and like I played, and so when things aren't going the way you want them to, it can often seem like the communication is not there. The reality is the communication has been there the whole time, and we had pre him getting taken out. I told you guys this, pre him getting taken out of the rotation, when he got taken out of the rotation, Nate has talked to him, Scotty's talked to him. So this has like been a 3-week process. And one of the things that we kept saying is like, you're going to get more opportunities. You got to stay ready. Him and I had a great conversation in Philly, and then we had a subsequent follow-up conversation on Monday. So I told him that he was going to play yesterday. I told him he was going to play, and I'm not like he was in the right headspace, and he helped win us the game. Like full stop. He helped win us the game, and I'm happy for him because the weight of not playing is a lot for a player, and unfortunately you can't play your entire roster every night, and that's just the reality of the NBA.
Just to follow up on Jared, I think a few weeks ago you were saying that you had kind of laid out some things that you were looking for from him if he was going to play again. Like what were you looking for? Or what can you share about what you were looking for, and what did he show you?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is not just him. This is like everybody is like you got to get back on defense. Like we cannot play 4-on-5. Like we will get scored on every time. We get scored on a lot 5-on-5. So it was like, getting back. And then, we had an earlier conversation prior just about being disruptive within our system, within our schemes. And he was that tonight, like super disruptive, did a great job with all of his switching. When he did switch, he switched up, he used his length, he was in great shifts. And so, whether it was deflections, the steals, all of that. And then offensively, cutting, crashing, just getting to the next action. He made a huge corner three there in the fourth as well. So he started his role tonight. He was awesome.
And sticking with the bench guys, Jake also had a lot of energy coming off in the third. What did you see from him? And he hasn't really scored as much as he was at the beginning of the season. Yeah. But just what does it say about, again, his professionalism to stay engaged?
I thought Jake, Gabe, Jackson, and Vando, how hard, and this stuff doesn't get reflected all the time in like a counting stat thing. So Jackson crashes, he draws a foul. Gabe multiple times is into the basketball on the sideline, deflects it out of bounds. Vando doing that. Jake multiple times, deflection, steals, all of that stuff. So those guys being just active defenders and being disruptive within our schemes, they all of four of those guys did that excellent tonight.
For those of us who are not here every day, you are, but the impact that LeBron still has as a 40-year-old, does it surprise you at all, or is it just LeBron?
I've been calling him 41 for like 3 months, but been rounding up. I never take it for granted. Never take it for granted. Thought he made a number of big plays. The turnovers for us, sometimes it's the star players that have those, but he also made some great decisions. That bucket at the end, which I thought was going to give us the cushion there if we could get one more stop, was a huge play. But he's just, he hits the game-winning free throws. He puts his handprint and fingerprints all over the game every single night.
Coach, you talked about all the mistakes that were made, an ugly win, but a win is a win. What have you learned about this team's resilience so far?
I would say consistently when they have been challenged on a very specific thing, they have responded to those challenges. Yep.
The free throws to end it. You missed the first one. You were able to make the next two. What was going on through your mind in that situation?
Nothing. Make them put yourself in a position to win the game. There's still 3 seconds to go. So we didn't know after they challenged it, they lost the challenge. They had no more timeout. So I knew no matter what, we knew no matter what, if I make them, that they were going to be coming right at us. So just go up there and make them and then get a stop.
You and Dillon Brooks have had some run-ins in the past. Tonight it happened again. Do you embrace that edge? What do you think of his approach when he plays your teams in particular?
I just like to compete. He's going to compete. I'm going to compete. We're going to get up in each other's face. Try not to go borderline with it. I don't really take it there. But we just compete, and did that almost all the way to the end of the game.
12.2 seconds left after he hit the go-ahead three. He goes chest to chest with you. How aware were you in that moment of the fact that he already had technical foul in order to perhaps make sure the ref saw what just...
Well, it didn't matter if he had one already or not. That's definitely a tech. If it was a tech on me in the first half, then it was a tech on him right there. So
The last defensive play where Allen gets the ball in transition, you know there have been a ton of foul calls. How do you kind of make sure to get your hand on it without fouling? And that, like, what's the?
You know, the funny thing is, I was just watching a highlight of him the other day when they played Minnesota, and he had that same step through move, and for some odd reason that clicked into my head when he kind of pump faked. I knew he was going to the 1-2 step through, so I was able to get my hand on the ball and get the block short. They went short, and Marcus was able to get the rebound and foul.
Jared Vanderbilt hasn't really played a ton in the last 10 games or so. He had some big moments. Jackson Hayes had some big moments. Gabe Vincent had a floater, had a three at the end of the third. What about those guys?
Our bench won us the game tonight. It's that simple. Our bench won us the game tonight. Vando, for not being in the rotation for a minute, for him to come in, give us that spark, 7 and 7, 6 offensive rebounds, I believe he had. Defensive prowess, couple steals. Jackson, Gabe, Jake, everybody, you know, our bench won us the game.
JJ said that he thought Luka would have been taking a technical foul with 12 seconds left. Why'd you take the tech?
Shit, I just walked into the free throw line. I mean, why wouldn't I? I mean, I'd have been okay with Luka taking it too. We've both been in pressure situations, but I just took it. I mean, unfortunately, I missed it, but I made up for it.
LeBron, how much fun is this for you to keep playing at this level?
It's fun to compete. It's fun to go out there and be able to do what I love to do, and just play the game of basketball. Try to give back as much as I can while I can. So it's a treat, and it's a lot of fun to go out and, you know, be out there with these guys, younger guys out on the floor running around, just trying to hold my own with the young crowd.
When you were younger, could you have envisioned yourself still playing at 40, 41?
No. I never gave myself a timeline of when I would be done playing. But if you would have asked the 18-year-old kid that came in, do you see yourself playing at 41? You know, it'd have been hard for me to foresee that. So I'm super blessed.
Kareem is the only one I've seen do.
Well, not no more. Yeah, you seen too.
It's fun.
It is fun. Thank you. All good. Appreciate it, guys.
Austin gets his first question.
Should take the first question. Oh, sorry.
DeAndre, the defense that you guys played as a team in the second half, you know, up until that kind of late push from Phoenix, where did you see that? Is it energy, execution, a mix of all? What did you see behind that?
Honestly, it was an emotional game. You know, we played with a lot of edge, and we just carried on over in late stretches of the game. And, you know, hats off to the officials having patience with us as well, because it really could have got a lot uglier, but they managed it for us in a way where we could compete at the highest level.
What did you get from Vanderbilt, Ravia, a couple of the other guys that played off the bench? It kind of did boosted what you were able to do out there.
Yeah, it definitely made our job of playing with grit more contagious. You know, hats off to Jay Vandal for coming off the bench, just straight to it. I think he got offensive rebound dunk right away. And once I seen that, just having both of us crash, you know, the big on the opponent's team, you know, they really had their hands full, you know, with two of us crashing. And, you know, the numbers says it itself, how we out-rebounded them and how many offensive boards we had. And, you know, Jake just being that pit bull for us and just, you know, people thinking he's the underdog or the duck, you know, and trying to attack him, and he holds his own.
Just another really efficient game for you. Was it 10 for 11? How have you found just your rhythm throughout the season, and that it continues up to this point?
Just making sure I know Bron's and Luka's tendencies, you know, if they go baseline, a circle ball to the middle, if they get double flash in front of the rim, you know, things like that, rolling hard to the rim and just waiting for late passes and sometimes just getting it off the rim. Sometimes that's the best option. Just offensive rebound and going back up with it. But I just really try to study all their moves and their favoritism as much as possible.
You mentioned the emotions. What was it like for you guys as a team that last 10 seconds or so when Brooks hits a three and then the technical and just kind of the wildness of that last stretch?
We were pretty calm. It was really their arena, just being, they loved it. It was, they was into it late in the stretch. Just the excitement and the environment. It wasn't really us really just worried about what's going on. We just was really locked in and focused.
Last week, you guys had a film session where the coaching staff really honed in on the defense and held you guys to what sounds like pretty stern account. What did you make of the response? And did you feel like more focus group wide on that end of the ball?
Yeah, seeing the scouting report on what teams, make of us, was pretty embarrassing. We were really we were a really good offensive team, but when you start to look at those numbers in depth and seeing over a span of games, like 10 games, it's terrible. And I'm just really, tonight was a great start, from those last two practices and that film meeting. JJ really got on us and, basically showed us, y'all showing y'all ass right now. And, it's time to tighten up a little bit where, got to have some pride on the defensive end.
DeAndre, there are a couple of keys in this game. So, hello again. A couple of keys tonight. Obviously the bench, but one thing too was the way you guys crashed the boards and got the offensive rebounds. Will you elaborate on how you were able to, you and the team, how you were able to do that?
Yeah, the way how the Suns was playing defense tonight. On every post up, they do a double, and having me and Jared in there, you just crashing two and bringing three back. But the way how it was set up. It's me flashing already under the rim, without being boxed out. And Vando just has a little guy on him, like a mismatch. And, just give us the tip backs and, just extra possessions and, just to keep the ball alive. And, that's when the loose ball fouls come in and things like that where, it kind of softened up their defense from crashing.
JJ said he wanted to challenge you guys to grow in your defensive mindset. What do you think that defensive mindset needs to be? When should you guys find it?
Just consistency, really. There's many times in these games where we tell on ourselves and, I guess JJ had enough, where, he just wants to sustain that and, let that be our Laker basketball. And I think tonight was a great start. And I think he was really happy about tonight, just taking a right step in the right direction.
Hey, D, what's it like at this point in your career to be playing with LeBron?
Yeah, it's really fun. Like I said, I'm always watching a movie, especially when I'm on the bench. The last 3 shots at the free throw line, that's another movie I seen today. Just him just taking his time, hearing the environment, hearing how the boos and the ahs, people knowing the outcome if you make these shots. Yeah, it was a movie again, and he did it again.
Are you amazed that I was telling him that the only other guy I've seen at his age do what he's doing is Kareem?
That's insane. Me, I'm with him every day, and I'm still in shock that I'm here.
So should I ask you what it's like to play in Phoenix again?
Yeah, it's always feel good to be Phoenix. They always adding some type of fuel to my fire. It's blue fire now. I think that's the hottest fire.
Another good quote.
Mike, you want to start us off?
Jared, JJ, and multiple your teammates mentioned your play and kind of that of the bench is flipping this game around. And you could look to the third quarter and then kind of start of the fourth. What were you seeing from the bench group that you were on, and how did you try to lead that group?
We just picked up the physicality and the intensity. We see the way the game was going, and we were just flying around, playing hard, and just bringing energy. The whole bench unit flying around.
Is that kind of play contagious? Do you feel like once you get out there and your teammates see that you're doing it, and then it kind of flows like that?
For sure. It's definitely contagious. That flying around mentality. We start getting deflections because nobody wants to be that guy. So if somebody starts it off, everybody kind of feed off the energy, and like you said, become contagious.
Right from the start, when you got put in, you had an offensive putback. I think you ended up with 6 offensive rebounds, several steals, a block. Did you feel like you were, for lack of a better term, had some like pent up energy from the time you weren't playing, and you wanted to kind of make a statement tonight with the minutes that you got?
I mean, I would say naturally, probably, just from I haven't played in a month, so naturally it was built up. But I feel like I bring that every game I play, regardless. So doesn't really matter the circumstances or the situation, but that's just what I hang my hat on, playing that way.
As just an observer, I'm curious what you make of sort of Dillon Brooks and LeBron when they get on the court together.
I mean, shit. I don't know. I mean, he brought his antics. I mean, tonight it cost him. So, yeah, that's all I can say.
The ups and downs of a game can be pretty emotionally draining. What was it like tonight? Going on that run like the way you guys did in the third, building that lead, and then kind of it going away, and then being back in position to win, and then that kind of going away, and then, I guess to end that still somehow with the win.
I mean, it's a game of runs. I feel like you said, we went on a big run. They came back. They fought back. They're a good team as well. I mean, the main thing is just finishing the game. I think we did that, and we came out with the win.
What do you think is special about the makeup, the mindset of this team to be able to come out of this chaotic mess with a win? And you guys, I think, are 9-0 now in clutch games.
I mean, like I said, we stood together. Obviously they made a late run. We made some big plays down the stretch. We didn't panic, and that's the reason we're 9-0. We go over late game situations and practice a lot. So being able to see it execute in real time is just a testament to the whole group.
Jared, players throughout years in the NBA say you can't really replicate actual NBA minutes to get in that kind of game shape. And while I'm sure you've been working out a ton and playing in practice, your game requires so much energy. Do you feel, even though you're in great shape, do you feel that wind when you haven't played a ton of game action? And how do you kind of keep pushing through that to play with full energy?
No, I felt it for sure. I was really just trying to catch that second wind. I didn't know how long my stretch would be. It was a little longer than expected, but I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, like you said, you can't replicate it. Like, I've been doing my part, coming in, working out, doing what I can, but obviously it don't replicate the gameplay. So it was good to get some game reps today.
Last quick one for me. If you look at the lineup data, like you and Marcus playing together, and sometimes with DeAndre, are pretty big in the plus. Do you think just having multiple defensive players, you can play off each other inside out and just sort of help the team that way?
For sure. I mean, having multiple defensive-minded players that could fly around, guard multiple positions, and just bring size. I think with that group, we had size, we had energy, we had physicality, and that was ultimately what helped spark that run, just out-muscling them and especially on offensive rebounds, offensive board.
Jared, I mean, you mentioned it, like you haven't played for a month, but even in that month, like you were still an active participant in huddles and different things like that, and you've been talking to guys in the locker room we've seen. Like, why didn't you pout? Like, what was it that kept you from kind of checking out mentally during the stretch?
I mean, this isn't the first time I've been in this situation, so and I kind of know how it works, and it's a long season. It's still early, so I know whether guys get injured or something like that, the opportunity gonna come back around, and the biggest thing is being ready for it, mentally, and obviously doing your part on the court and showing up to practice and being a good teammate, stuff like that. But yeah, my main thing was just staying ready, because I knew eventually at some point opportunity was gonna come, and I wanted to be ready for it. So just staying ready.
Thanks.
When you went out of the game, you guys were up 20. It kind of signified that stretch that you had with the other bench players and, rotating, whether it was LeBron or Luka out there. What were you guys able to bring energy-wise and defensively to flip this game?
Just energy. All of us wanted to just come bring that energy. We always have a saying, stay ready till you got to get ready. And so everyone just came today, brought that energy and crashing. That was a big thing for us today, is just crashing and staying on that O glass. And so, I mean, I was just flying around. All the guys today did great.
You had a number of contested rebounds on both sides. I remember in the preseason you talked about adding a few pounds of muscle in the offseason. Have you felt that in moments like this? Has that helped you in those situations?
Yeah, a little bit for sure, but I mean, definitely always stuff I can work on. Yeah.
All right, and then a couple of big dunks for you, but can you take us through the one where you take the ball way back over your head and kind of dunk through traffic? And that certainly was a momentum builder.
Shout out Jake, man. Jake finally made that pass. He made it once before in Milwaukee, and every time he does it, we get a dunk. So, shout out Jake. Hopefully he keeps making that pass, man. He asked me about your pass today.
I actually didn't even ask him about the dunk. I didn't even, and he shouted you out without me mentioning your name, so it was very nice.
Very unselfish dunk, or unselfish pass.
LeBron credited the bench for the win tonight. Obviously, there's been times when, as a unit, you guys didn't necessarily had the most production. What made it work tonight?
Just the flow of the game. We were all in sync today. We were all flying around. Everyone was just trying to play their hearts out. So I feel like that just always helps. Like there's like a saying, balls always finds energy, and so I feel like we all were just flying around with energy. So basketball gods rewarded us.